care less about you. How much more painful is anything else besides that? Because that strikes deep within the heart. And it wasn't even just that this world the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ cared about us. He told his companions that on the day of judgment, come find me. Come look for me. Ask for me. Do whatever you can to come towards me. On the day of judgment. On a day that it said that even mothers will be abandoning their children. And when we talk about love, what's the most sacred relationship we always talk about? The love between a mother and a child. That love, nothing can really speak upon it. Nothing can really do that love justice. The love between a mother and their child. So on a day where mothers will be abandoning their children, and everyone will be caring about themselves, everyone will be saying, nafsi, nafsi, myself, myself. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ will be saying, ummati, 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 ummati. Even to the extent that when the angels will come and they'll start picking away at the ummah of Rasulullah ﷺ, the angels will come and they'll start picking up people and carrying them away to Jahannam. And the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ will see this and he'll try to stop the angels. He'll try to tell them, like, where are you taking them? What are you doing with these people? These are my people. These are for people from my ummah. But the angels will respond, Ya Rasulullah, you don't know what they did to your teachings, your legacy, the religion you left behind after you left. You don't know what they did to it. You don't know how they abandoned it. You don't know how they changed it. And these individuals will be carried away to Jahannam. The effect of us not implementing the life of Rasulullah ﷺ. That the day we get the chance to meet him, the day we get to drink from his beloved hands, that day individuals will be plucked away by the angels and taken away from him. And for us to understand this and for us to truly give respect to this aspect of Rasulullah ﷺ, we have to try to emulate him. The ultimate level or the ultimate sign of flattery and affection is when you copy an individual, right? You know, I remember my parents telling me a story about my sister, right? How she would always wear my dad's glasses, and apparently that's what caused her eyesight to go bad. But when an individual loves someone so much, they try to emulate them, they try to copy them, right? You have youth these days that are dressing like their favorite basketball players and their favorite singers and rappers or whatever it is. And it sounds cliched, but I try to stay involved with the youth as much as possible, and the sad thing is, it's true. I see it, right? You have individuals who are trying to emulate the people they want to become. And even once, alhamdulillah, I started working, and within the first few weeks, every week I was having my one-on-ones with my manager. And in general, my company, we don't really have like a dress code, right? As long as you come in presentable, you don't necessarily have to wear a dress shirt and whatnot. So I was coming in just regular shirt and pants and things like that, nothing special. And on one of my one-on-ones with my manager, he's telling me like, hey, everything you're doing is perfect. Everything you're doing is fine. But there's one thing I can tell you to improve on. I said, sure, what is it? And my manager told me that the one thing I would like for you to improve on is the way you dress. And he said, he's like, I know there's no dress code and there's no restrictions and you can technically wear what you want. But he said, if you want to appeal to your higher management, if you want to get far in this company, you have to dress for the job you want, not for the one you have. As in, dress like those who you want to become. Dress like those who you want to have a close relationship with so that they can respect you. SubhanAllah, this concept of implementing actions of others to get close to them was present in the workplace. I was being instructed by my manager to dress like a manager if I wanted to ever become one. But SubhanAllah, when individuals take actions like this seriously, where is it when it comes to our actions for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? And just to highlight how the Sahaba loved him, right? Because what greater of example than the love the Sahaba had for the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? That one of his servants, one time, when the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam went on a journey, he went on a trip. And And when he came back, this servant came to the Prophet and he started crying, saying that, Ya Rasulullah, I missed you. And Rasulullah wasn't gone for very long. I believe he was only gone for a day. And he told this individual that, like, you missed me after one night. And the servant, he tells Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that it wasn't that I physically missed you. When you were away from me, I thought about your place in Jannah and Jannatul Firdaus. And I reflected upon my place, and I don't know where I will be. And thinking about being away from you in the Akhirah, where the time is eternity, that made me sad. That I could potentially be away from you in Jannah. That made me sad. You know, many of us, we kind of tell ourselves that I just want to get into Jannah. I just want to meet the bare minimum. If I get first level, it's fine. It's great for me. And of course, you know, it's Jannah. What's more, you know, we hear the stories and descriptions. What's more beautiful than Jannah? But this servant of the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this servant was more concerned about spending their time in Jannah with the Rasulullah than just making it to Jannah in general. They didn't care about that. They just wanted to make sure they were in Jannah with Rasulullah. When the Muslim Ummah managed to finally take back Mecca, Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, he took his father and he dragged him to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And his father accepted Islam there. And Rasulullah, seeing the old age of Abu Bakr's father, he told him that, you know, why did you bring him to me? I would have came to him. And then Abu Bakr tells him that, you know, you shouldn't come to a disbeliever, right? You shouldn't come to someone who didn't believe in the faith or who didn't accept Islam. They should come to you to accept Islam, right? So afterwards, on that day, the companions, they found Abu Bakr crying and sobbing and crying. And you know, someone could say that there were tears of happiness, that his father just accepted Islam. But when the companions saw him, they were not tears of happiness. They were tears of sadness. And the companions, they were taken back by this. And they asked Abu Bakr, they said, you know, well, why are you crying? Today, we managed to conquer Mecca. Your father became a Muslim. There's so many good things happening. Why is it that you're sad? What is making you so sad? And Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, he tells them that I'm sad because I wish Abu Talib could have accepted Islam over my father. That I would wish the shahada that my father had taken was given to Abu Talib, because I know that would have made the Prophet Muhammad so much happier. Subhanallah. That Abu Bakr as-Siddiq was even willing to go back in time. He was willing to not have his father accept Islam, to not have his father saved from the fire of hell, just so that Abu Talib could have become Muslim, because he knew that would have made the Prophet Muhammad so much more happier. What level of love is higher than this? How many of us can say we're willing to abandon individuals within our lives? We're willing to make these drastic changes and these claims for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Mind you, not even Rasulullah, even our own relationships with individuals. How many of us can have attained that level of love? And going back to my main point, that the best and the only way, and the way we know from the Quran and the Sunnah is, and that's the reason why the Sunnah is there. That's the reason why we have so many thousands of records of the Hadith. The reason why it's there is for us to learn, reflect, and implement. Why is it that the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ would teach us how to eat? Why is it that he would teach us how to dress, teach us how to groom ourselves, teach us how to play with our kids, teach us, even there was documented stories about how he played, how he wrestled, how he maintained his body. Why is it that these examples exist for us? Is it just to look at it and say, wow, he lived such an awesome life, he did such amazing tactics, and then move on? No. Every aspect of our religion exists for a reason. And the reason for the hadith and the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is so that we can implement, not just learn and document, but to understand and implement. And even Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, in contrast to the first ayah or ayah, He says, قُلْ إِن كُنْتُمْ تُحِبُّونَ اللَّهِ فَاتَّبِعُونِي يُحْبِبْكُمُ اللَّهُ وَيَغْفِرْ لَكُمْ ذُنُوبَكُمُ اللَّهُ غَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ. that he tells the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, say, O Muhammad, if you should love Allah, then follow me. Love me as well. That if you want to follow and become successful in the eyes of Allah and attain Allah's mercy, then follow me. Have a relationship with me, the Rasulullah ﷺ. Him saying this to his people. That our avenue, our best way to get close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is to learn how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's number one did it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's greatest creation, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's the greatest man to walk on this earth. If you want to learn how to attain a relationship with Allah, why not look better than this example? Because wallahi, this example, this guide, this template of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it has no faults in terms of what we can learn from. It has no holes within it. It has no deficiencies. It's an all-encompassing way of life taught us by an individual who lived this life of Islam the best way possible. So if you want a gold standard to living Islam, to understanding and loving Allah, it is the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And subhanAllah, even children understood this. Abdurrahman ibn Auf, during one of the first battles with the Quraysh, he tells a story how during this battle, he says that I was standing next to two small boys. And Abdurrahman ibn Auf was thinking to himself, like, we're about to enter battle, and the only people I have next to me are two small boys. And he's getting worried. How am I supposed to enter the battlefield with just these two people as my backup? He said, I'm gonna die. Like, this is insane. And as he's thinking about this, contemplating, stressing about how am I supposed to battle with two young boys, or how am I supposed to protect them in this war, one of the boys tugs him on his shirt. And he asks Abdurrahman ibn Auf, do you know who Abu Jahl is? And Abdurrahman ibn Auf was like, yes. What do you want with Abu Jahl? And this young boy, he tells Abdurrahman ibn Auf that when I see Abu Jahl, my eyes will not leave his eyes till he's dead. Because I heard that this individual hurt and bothered Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And Abdurrahman ibn Auf, he says, I was so taken back by this statement, this bold and powerful statement. And as he was contemplating about this, the other boy tugged him on the shirt and asked him the same question. And he said the same thing. That these two young boys, who Abdurrahman ibn Auf himself said that they never met the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They had yet to meet him. All they heard was that Abu Jahl hurt and bothered this individual. And from what they learned and understood about the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they took it upon themselves to go after the individuals who hurt him. And maybe this isn't the level of action we would need to take, but it's just showing that even children understood what it meant to love and care for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Going back to the example of Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, he said himself that one time I was so thirsty. I was so thirsty. But my thirst was quenched just by watching Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam drink water. Just by watching him drink, my thirst was quenched. My stomach was filled. And this isn't some type of magic or anything like that. This was simply out of the love for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And I wanted to conclude, I wanted to conclude with one last story. And then after that, go into some action items, some things we can do to act upon what we learned today. And this story is probably one of my favorite stories. And it's a story of Bilal ibn Rabah after the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam had passed away. Right? So after the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam had passed away, Bilal ibn Rabah, he was living through the city of the Prophet. He was walking through and doing what else he does for a few days, months, years. And as he was staying in the city of the Prophet, he was becoming more and more depressed. He was becoming sadder and sadder and sadder. The grief of losing Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, being in the city of the Prophet, was not making it any easier. So what does he do? He goes to Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, the current Khalifa at the time. And he asked him, "Oh Abu Bakr, do you give me permission to leave the city? Do you give me permission to leave the city?" And of course, initially Abu Bakr was like, why do you want to leave? Where do you want to go? Of course we can't let you go. Who will help lead the people? Who will give the adhan? Who will hold down the religion of Islam with me? Right? An individual who spent so much time with the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, why would we let you go? And Bilal ibn Rabah, he says that every time I walk through the streets, every wall I see, every street corner, every building, every time I walk past the Prophet Muhammad's house, every time I walk past his masjid, I get so stricken by sadness, by his loss, and I can't take it anymore. In order for me to be able to get over this loss, I need to leave. I need to give myself some time to recover.